first step in solving the cube blindfolded is to orient the edges. Orientation refers to the way an edge is flipped. For example, the edge here in position T has blue on top and red on front. If it were this way, with red on top and blue on front, that's a different orientation. Before I try to thoroughly confuse you with my explanation of how to determine if a piece is correctly oriented or not, I'll run through the algorithm and the setup moves. First off, orient the cube. I got blue on front, yellow on bottom. This piece here in position T is called the target. That's where we're going to move whatever edge needs to be flipped to. Then we'll perform the algorithm and put that piece back. Unfortunately, it's not possible to manipulate just one piece. You have to do at least two of them. In this case, there's just one other piece that gets flipped, and that's this here in position M, which is called the buffer. Every time you perform the algorithm to flip this piece, this one will also get flipped, but don't give it too much concern. Now for the algorithm. LW, which is the leftmost two layers clockwise, then L prime, the left outer face 1/4 turn counterclockwise, followed by a U, up face clockwise. Then we repeat that again. LW, L prime, U. Then do the first part again, LW, L prime, but in this case, instead of a U, you do U2, which is like this. Index finger 1/4 turn, then middle finger 1/4 turn. Next section starts with M prime. To do that, you put your left ring finger on edge V and pull it forward like that, which turns this slice 1/4 turn counterclockwise as though you're looking at it from the left. Then you follow that up with a U. Repeat those two moves again. M prime, U, then an M prime and a U2 instead of a single U. And as you can see, this piece here has been flipped. It used to be green on top and blue on front, now it's the other way, and this one back here is also flipped. To get these back, I'll run through the algorithm again. LW, L prime, U, LW, L prime, U, LW, L prime, U2, M prime, U, M prime, U, M prime, U2. Now it's time to run through all the setup moves you'll need to be able to move any edge into our target position here. I'd advise you not to memorize the setup moves and unsetups. Just perform them a few times and you'll quickly see what's going on. None of them are more than 3 moves anyway. We'll start out with edge T. It's already in our target position, so no setups are necessary. N. You'd think you could just do a U to move it over here, but that won't work, because that will move our buffer position out of the way. The buffer can't be disturbed. Since it's at the intersection of the up and back faces, the rule is do not move the upper back faces for the setup and undo setup moves. So for N, you'll have to do 2 parts. First is R prime to move the piece from here to here, then F prime to move it up here. The inverse of that is F, R. Position M back here is our buffer. Leave it alone, don't touch it, it'll work itself out. For D, L to move the piece from here to here, then F to bring it up into our target position. Undo moves, F prime, L prime. Now down to the edges on the E slice. For S, very simple, F. Move it from here to here. Undo F prime. G is just as easy. F prime to move it in position, F to undo. For L, the first step is an R2 to move the piece from back here to here, then F prime to bring it up into T. Undo is F R2. For R, which is back here, first got to get it up here with an L2 move, then F. And there it is, red and white, and you should know what the two colors on the QB back here are. Undo, F prime, L2. For P, that's real easy. F2 moves it from down here to up here. Inverse is exactly the same move, F2. For C, you do a D prime, which is D, the down face counterclockwise, looking at it from the bottom, to move the piece from here to here. Then F2 to bring it up. Inverse of that, F2, D. And for V, which is the one down here, D2 to bring it down here, then F2 to bring it up. Inverse of that, F2, D2. And finally for edge W, D, F2. Inverse of that, to undo it, F2, D prime. Now we need to determine which edges are correctly oriented and which ones are incorrectly oriented and need to be flipped. I'd better warn you that this is the most difficult step of the whole process. If you can get this down, the rest of it will be easy. I shall try to explain it as clearly and coherently as possible. We're going to be looking for either the up or down color sticker or right or left color. The front and back are ignored, so in my case here, if I see a blue or white sticker, I just skip it and look at the other one. We'll start with the 4 up face edges first. If one of those edges has an up or down color on the top, it is correctly oriented. If it has an up or down color on the side, one of the sides, it's incorrectly oriented. For the right or left color, if one of those is on the side, it's correctly oriented. If on the top, incorrectly oriented. Now let's run through these pieces here. Start with this one here. This is my up color, and it's on the side. In order to be correctly oriented, it would have to be on the top. So this is incorrectly oriented. Here's my top color here again, and it's on the top, so this is correctly oriented. This is our buffer. Skip that. Once all the other 11 edges are oriented, this one will be too. And over here, this is my right color, and if it were correctly oriented, it would be on the side, but it's on the top, so it's incorrectly oriented. On to the 4 E-slice edges. An up or down color on the front or back is correctly oriented. If it's on the side, it's incorrectly oriented. A right or left color is correctly oriented if it's on the right or left. This piece here, this is one of my side colors, and it's on the front, so it's incorrectly oriented. To be correct, it would have to be on the side. Same thing here. This is one of my side colors, right or left, and it's on the front. It's incorrectly oriented. Back here, here's a side color. It's on the side, so it's correctly oriented. And over here, right or left color, and it's on the side, so it's correctly oriented. Finally, the down face edges. The rules for this are similar to the up face edges. An up or down color is correctly oriented if it's on the bottom. A right or left color is correctly oriented if it's on one of the sides, like this here. Here's my bottom color. It's on the side. In order to be correctly oriented, it would have to be down here in the bottom, so this is incorrect. And down here, well, you can see that we have an up and 2 down colored stickers, and they're all on the bottom. So all of these edges are correctly oriented. We don't even need to look at whatever color happens to be on the side. Now we just have to memorize all this mess. We'll be using 3 images, one for the up face edges, one for the E-slice edges, and a third for the down face edges. Since each edge can have only one of 2 possible states, this would be a perfect candidate for binary numbers. However, since most of you are not computer geeks who think in binary, I'll convert the numbers to decimal. For purposes of this step only, each edge will have a number associated with it. On the up face, it is 8, 4, 2, which is our buffer, skip that, and 1. The rule is, if the edge is incorrectly oriented, use the number. If it's correctly oriented, ignore it. This here is 8. Our up color is on the side, so this piece is incorrectly oriented. Therefore, we have to use 8. Come over here to 4, up color on top, correctly oriented, skip the 4. Throw that away. And over here, 1. This is one of our right or left colors, and it's on the top. In order to be correctly oriented, it would have to be on the side, so this is incorrectly oriented, and we need to use the 1. Add the 1 to the 8, and you get 9. Here's the image that I use to represent the number 9. Attach that to the first item in your Roman room. Next we go on to the E-slice edges. Number 8. Right or left color on front, incorrectly oriented, use a 8. This is 4. Right or left color on the front, incorrectly oriented, use 4. Back here, right or left color, it's on the side, so that's correctly oriented. Over here, right or left color on the side, correctly oriented. Don't need that. Add the 8 and the 4, and you get 12. Here's the image for 12. Finally, down to the bottom layer, or the down face if you wish. Bottom color on the side, incorrectly oriented. We need to use 8. And you can see all 3 of these. We have 1 up face color and 2 down face colors. All 3 of them are on the bottom, so they're all correctly oriented. We can ignore 4, 2, and 1. That gives you 8, and here's the image for 8. At the end of this video, I'll have a slideshow with all of the images that I use for the various numbers. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, when we actually start solving the cube. This will be the last time I'll remind you to orient your cube first. Mine blue on front, yellow on bottom. Now recall your first image on your first Roman room item. Remember that represented the number 9. We'll be calling 9 our target number for the up face edges. And we'll start with this edge here, which is numbered 8. Is our target number 9 greater than or equal to 8? Well, at least when I went to school it was. So we have to do the edge flipper on this piece here. It's already in the target position, so we don't need to do any setup moves. Just run the edge flipper algorithm, which is LW L prime U, LW L prime U, LW L prime U2, M prime U, M prime U, M prime U2. And now we can see that this piece here is correctly oriented. The green, which was on the side here, is now on the top. Once we've done the 8, we have to subtract 8 from our original target number of 9 to give us a new target number of 1. Next we move on to edge that's numbered 4 here. Is our target number 1 greater than or equal to 4? Well, no, so we ignore that. This 2 is our buffer, skip that. This will always end up being oriented, assuming that you do all the other edges correctly. And now, the last one here is 1. Is our target number 1 greater than or equal to 1? Yes. So that means this edge here has to be flipped. And remember the setup moves to get it over here. L, F, then do the edge flipper, and this is the last time I'll say the algorithm for it. LW, L prime U, LW, L prime U, LW, L prime U2. M prime U, M prime U, M prime U2, and undo the setup moves with an F prime and an L prime. And now here's my right or left color. It's on the side. This is correctly oriented. We just did the 1, so we subtract 1 from our target number 1, which gives us 0. So that means we're all done with the up face edges. Now recall your next image. Recall that it stood for the number 12, which becomes our new target number. We start here with 8 again. Is our target 12 greater than or equal to 8? Yes. So we have to flip this edge. And to get that into position is just an F. Now the edge flipper. That's what I get for using this clunky Rubik's brand cube instead of my speed cube. Okay, and then I just undid the setup moves, so now here's a side color on the side. This is right. Subtract the number of this piece we just did, 8, from 12, which gives us our new target number of 4. The next piece is 4. Is the number of this less than or equal to our target number? Yes, it is. So we have to flip this edge, which is edge G, and the setup move for that is just F prime. Now the edge flip algorithm. Undo the setup move. Subtract 4 from our target number 4 gives us 0. So that means we're done with the E-slice edges, which indicates that these two back here are already oriented. And now the third image, which stands for the number 8. Our target number 8, this piece here, number 8, is this 8 less than or equal to our target number 8? Yes, it is. So we have to flip this. To get it up here, just F2, edge flipper, undo setup, and now our yellow, which was here, is down here, and as you can see, our buffer piece has solved itself. The down color is on top. Now this target number and subtracting stuff is just a temporary crutch while you're learning this. It won't take you long to get used to the numbers. For example, if you had number 11, you'll know immediately that the only way you can make 11 is 8, 2, and 1. So you'll just do pieces 8, 2, and 1. Here's a practice procedure I recommend that you follow. First of all, look at each of the edges in order, starting with the up face. Go T, N, and you skip M because it's a buffer, then D, then on to the E slice edges, S, G, L, and R, then the down ones in this order, P, C, V, and W. Look at each one. If it needs to be oriented, use the setup moves to put it in the target position, do the edge flipper algorithm, and return it. It won't take you long to get used to the setup and undo setup moves in the algorithm. Once you're good at that, you can memorize all 3 layers, then execute it with your eyes open. Finally, memorize, close your eyes or blindfold, and execute. Once you can do that successfully at least 3 times in a row, you can move on to part 4, where things will get a whole lot easier.
Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning Holy, 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 all the saints adore thee, casting down their golden crowns around the glassy sea. Cherubim and seraphim falling down before thee, who wert and art and evermore shall be. Holy, 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 though the darkness hide thee, though the eye of sinful man thy glory may not see, only thou art holy, there is none beside thee, perfect in power, in love and purity. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, all thy works shall praise thy